Young men are gambling more than any generation before them. And I don't think most people are asking the right question about why. Because the answer isn't greed, it isn't stupidity, and honestly, it isn't even addiction. Not the way people usually mean it. Here's what it actually is. You're not addicted to gambling, you're addicted to mattering. The bet gives you something your job, your savings account, your entire responsible financial life stopped giving you a long time ago. The feeling your decisions produce real consequences. Tonight, not in 30 years, right now. And I think if you're honest with yourself, that feeling is better than almost anything else in your financial life. Once you understand that, everything about the grip that this thing has on you starts to make sense, and so does the way out. Think about the moment right after you place a bet. Not when you win, right after you place it, before the result even exists. Something happens, a specific feeling like the volume just got turned up, like you're suddenly awake in a way you weren't 5 minutes ago, like your decision is about to make something happen in the world. That feeling isn't the gambling, that's agency. The experience of your actions having direct, visible, immediate consequences on your situation. And here's the thing nobody talks about. That feeling is a legitimate psychological need. It's not weakness. Research on human motivation consistently put agency right alongside food and connection as one of the things people genuinely require to feel alive. Now think about your financial life outside the gambling app. You put money into an index fund and then nothing. The number goes from $400 to $401. You check it twice and it doesn't help. You work hard for years, you get a 3% raise, you do everything right for 5 years, and the thing you're working toward still feels exactly as far as it did at the start. You act and the world just doesn't respond, not visibly, not in any time frame that means anything to you right now. The bet fixes this in 1 second, one decision, visible stakes, a result tonight. The gambling industry didn't create that need in you. They just found the people who had it the most and built a product perfectly shaped around it. Here's the part that probably nobody has said to you before. The traditional path to building wealth doesn't just feel slow to you. It feels broken, like evidence that something is wrong with your approach or your idea or you specifically. And I want to tell you, that feeling is not irrational. It was installed. A decade of consuming success content quietly recalibrated your brain's sense of what normal progress looks like. The overnight stories, the 30 days transformations, the guy who documents building a business from zero and is somehow at $100,000 a month by episode 12. Your brain builds its model of normal from what it sees repeatedly. Feed it enough compressed timelines, even if you know they're the exception, and they stop feeling like exceptions. They become the baseline. They become what your brain expects progress to look like. So now you look at the traditional path, career, savings account, compound interest, and against a brain trained on highlight reels, that timeline doesn't feel patient. It feels like a proof that something isn't working. And when someone tells you to just trust the process, you've tried that. The process feels broken. That's why the bet is so seductive, because it's the only financial product that matches the speed your brain has been trained to expect. Here's something that genuinely unsettles me when I think about it. The customer acquisition cost for a new sports bettor in North America, the amount these companies spend to get you to place your first bet, is between $300 and $500 per person. They are spending hundreds of dollars specifically to acquire you, not the average person scrolling on Instagram. You, the ambitious one who feels behind, who needs their decisions to matter, whose internal clock is running faster than reality can satisfy. They're not doing this because they think you'll win. They're doing this because the data told them something about you that you haven't figured out about yourself yet. They know the product isn't the odds. The product is consequence. The feeling that a decision you make is about to produce a real result. And they know from billions of data points that once an ambitious young man experiences that feeling through their app, he comes back at a rate that makes the $400 acquisition cost look cheap. And the app looks like Instagram or any social media app on purpose. The near-miss animations, the instant cash-out button, the constant motion, every single element is engineered to deliver that feeling of consequence as frequently as possible. They didn't create the hunger. They found it pre-existing in you and they monetized it. Now here's the part that actually bothers me. Ambition, underneath everything, stripped all the way down, is one desire. The desire for your actions to matter, to cause something, to change your own circumstances through your own choices and actually see it land in the world. That's not a flaw. That's the thing that builds everything worth building. But here's what the bet does to that specific person. The traditional path tells you your actions will matter eventually, invisibly, decades from now. Just be patient, trust the process. The bet tells you your actions matter right now. If you're someone whose entire identity is built around the need for your decisions to count, a system that delivers that feeling instantly will always be the system that defers it indefinitely. Even when the instant one is mathematically designed to take everything from you. And this is why ambitious, driven, self-aware people are the most vulnerable to this. Not the checked out ones, not the passive ones, the ones who want it most. You're not the exception to this pattern. You might be the center of it. Here's what ties all of this together. The agency gap. The distance between how badly you need to feel your decisions matter and how completely the traditional path refuses to give you that feeling in any time frame you can actually tolerate. That's not the weak discipline, that's a specific, legitimate psychological need colliding with a system that was designed to meet it, and an industry that built an entire product around exploiting the collision. The standard advice when someone recognizes this pattern is close the app, be patient, show some discipline. That advice will always fail, not because you can't discipline your way out of a genuine need. The hunger to feel like your decisions matter doesn't disappear when you delete the app. It just goes unmet and sits there until you find the next thing that feeds it. The move isn't to kill the impulse. The impulse is correct. The move is to aim it somewhere that actually pays you back. If the real addiction is agency, the solution isn't less agency, it's more. Real agency. Built by you, not rented from a gambling app. Now you're probably sitting with all of this and asking yourself the same question everyone asks at this point. Okay, so what am I actually supposed to do with this? Here's the answer. Not a generic advice, 3 things that follow directly from the mechanism itself. Because the agency gap doesn't close with discipline. It closes when you start feeding the real need the right way. Number 1, create consequences. Most people spend years consuming consequences instead of creating them. What I mean by that? Watching sport, watching businesses, watching creators build things, taking out the outcomes of other people's decisions without putting anything real on the line themselves. The antidote is producing something that can succeed or fail because of you. A project, a skill, a business, anything where reality responds to your decisions, where the world gives you actual feedback because you put something actual in front of it, not to get rich, to get the feeling right away. Now, number 2, shorten the feedback loop. Your brain doesn't actually need instant rewards. It needs visible progress. The reason gambling keeps winning is because the feedback arrives tonight. The reason the traditional path keeps losing is because the feedback arrives in a decade. The move isn't to choose between them, it's to build things where feedback arrives this week. Ship something small, put something into the world that responds to you faster than compound interest does. This is exactly what your reset clock is asking for. Not more patience, just a feedback timeline that makes biological sense. Number 3, earn consequence. This is the one the betting app can never give you, no matter how long you use it. Gambling creates the feeling of consequence without requiring you to grow. The results arrive regardless of whether you got better, regardless of what you build, regardless of who you had to become to produce it. Real consequence, the kind earned through actual skill and actual risk, works differently. Every capability you build gives your next decision more weight. Every time you put something real on the line and survive it, your ability to shape outcomes grow. The betting app rents you the feeling that your choice matter. Competence lets you own it. Now choose carefully which one you're building. Before you close this, one thing. Name one real bet you've been avoiding, not a flutter, a real one. Something where putting it on the line would actually tell you something true about yourself. A skill, a project, a move you've been sitting on because it actually matters, and that's exactly what makes it terrifying. Write it in the comments, say it out loud so it exists somewhere outside your own head. That's not motivational exercise, that's the first consequence you create today. And if you want to understand the root underneath everything I just described, the reason the traditional path feels broken to begin with, what actually happened to your generation's sense of time, and why this pattern shows up in areas that have nothing to do with money, I made a video that goes all the way to the bottom of it. It's the other half of this one, you might want to check it out.